The Cypherpunks, a group of radical thinkers from the 1990s who believed privacy was a human right. They weren't politicians or bankers. They were cryptographers, hackers, mathematicians, people who understood that in a digital age, code could be power. Their emails and manifestos read like prophecy, warnings about surveillance, centralized control, and the erosion of individual freedom. They saw what was coming long before the rest of the world did. The Cypherpunk mailing list wasn't just a place for technical debates. It was the birthplace of a philosophy, a manifesto that declared, "Privacy is necessary for an open society in the electronic age." Back then, the internet felt free. Governments and corporations hadn't yet transformed it into a surveillance machine. The Cypherpunks knew that window wouldn't stay open forever. They argued that cryptography, not politics, would be the final line of defense. That mathematics, not laws, would protect human liberty. They weren't dreamers, they were builders. They gave us tools, PGP encryption, anonymous remailers, digital cash experiments like e-gold, hashcash, and B-money. They believed privacy wouldn't be granted. It had to be engineered. Then came the cracks in the system. When the dot-com bubble burst in 2000, millions realized the internet wasn't a utopia. It was already being monetized, harvested, and controlled. After September 11th, mass surveillance programs grew in the shadows, justified by fear. And by the time Edward Snowden revealed the scope of that surveillance in 2013, the Cypherpunks' warnings had become reality. But even before that, in the late 2000s, trust in institutions was evaporating. And in a small cryptography forum, an anonymous figure named Satoshi Nakamoto posted a white paper. Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It wasn't just another tech project. It was the cypherpunk vision, made real. Bitcoin was built on a radical premise. You don't have to trust anyone. No central bank, no government, no corporation. Instead of trust, there is proof. Cryptographic proof. Each transaction verified by a decentralized network of nodes. Each block secured by computation, not permission. No one can alter it. No bureaucrat can censor it. No banker can inflate it. Bitcoin is digital cash, but unlike fiat, it's nobody's liability. It belongs to no one, and to everyone. This was no accident. It was rebellion by design. Fiat money depends on obedience, and on trust in institutions that have failed us time and again. Every event proved the same thing. Centralized systems eventually serve themselves. In those systems, your money exists at the mercy of banks. In Bitcoin, your money exists because of math. In fiat, you ask permission to move your wealth. In Bitcoin, you broadcast your intent to a network that can't discriminate. In fiat, surveillance is the default. In Bitcoin, privacy is a choice, one the cypherpunks fought to preserve. This wasn't about creating new money. It was about creating a new kind of resistance. For the cypherpunks, freedom and privacy were inseparable. They saw that the more data governments and corporations collect, the less power individuals retain. Every digital payment leaves a trace. Every transaction can be analyzed, profiled, weaponized. Governments speak of security and anti-money laundering, but behind that language lies convenience and profit. Surveillance has become an industry. Bitcoin rejects that paradigm. It's not perfect, but it is principled. It restores self-sovereignty to those who choose it. It offers an escape from the financial dragnet of the modern world. When you hold Bitcoin, you hold value outside the reach of any state. You can store it in your memory, behind 12 words. Send it across borders without permission. Engage in a global network without surrendering your identity. That's radical power. And with it comes radical responsibility. Because Bitcoin doesn't just free you from banks, it forces you to grow up. There's no helpline, no forgot password, no bailout. The same system that protects you from coercion protects you from rescue. That's the price of autonomy, the kind the cypherpunks believed in. To the mainstream, Bitcoin looks like speculation. To regulators, it looks like a threat. But to those who understand its roots, It's something far greater. A declaration of independence written in code. Its architecture isn't just technical, it's moral. It stands for a simple truth. We do not consent to being watched. We reject the idea that inflation is inevitable. We refuse to let trust flow upward to a central power. Instead, we share it horizontally across thousands of machines, millions of minds, and one incorruptible open ledger that belongs to everyone and no one. That's what the cypherpunks meant when they said, "We write code." Not to destroy, but to defend. Not to hide, but to reclaim what was ours: privacy, agency, sovereignty. Bitcoin isn't just money, it's memory. Every block, a timestamp of defiance. Every node, a vote for freedom. And that's why governments fear it. Not because it's illegal, but because it's incorruptible. Centralized money thrives on opacity. Bitcoin thrives on transparency. Fiat hides its manipulations behind jargon. Bitcoin exposes everything, yet still shields the individual behind cryptography. That paradox is beautiful. Total auditability, zero authority. In a world where trust is broken, Bitcoin whispers, "Don't trust. Verify." That phrase is the heartbeat of the cypherpunk philosophy. Because trust can be betrayed, but mathematics cannot. As Bitcoin evolves, privacy layers like Lightning, CoinJoin, and Fedimint aren't just code, they're acts of defiance. They carry forward the cypherpunk legacy. Freedom must be engineered. Governments will push central bank digital currencies, programmable money designed for control. But Bitcoin stands as their opposite. Open, borderless, uncensorable. One offers obedience, the other offers choice. One thrives on control, the other on chaos. Beautiful mathematical chaos. So can Bitcoin free us from control? That depends on us, on whether we choose convenience or freedom, on whether we accept responsibility for our keys, our privacy, our sovereignty. Because Bitcoin isn't a promise. It's a tool. And a tool is only as powerful as the hands that wield it. Satoshi once wrote, "The root problem with conventional currency is all the trust that's required to make it work. The central bank must be trusted not to debase the currency, but the history of fiat currencies is full of breaches of that trust." That single insight united decades of cypherpunk philosophy into one act of creation. A system that runs not on faith, but on proof. Bitcoin wasn't built to make us rich. It was built to make us free, and to remind us that freedom comes with responsibility. No intermediaries, no guarantees, no excuses. It challenges us to think, to learn, to protect what we own and value what we can lose. It asks, will we trade sovereignty for convenience? Will we let comfort replace courage? Because in every age, the tools of freedom fade when people stop defending them. Thanks for watching. If this opened your eyes, hit like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories that challenge how we see money, power, and truth.